Hello people, somewhat a different video this time. Might do this more often, might just leave it at this only occasion here. I just wanted to talk a little about my YouTube channel and the Case Mega Man challenge that I've been doing. I just realized that it's been 6 whole years that I've been doing this challenge. Granted, there's people who have done this much faster than me. For one, Phelan has already completed Mega Man 1 through 6, and I believe 9 and 10, 7, and he's about to be done with 8. And here I am. I've been doing this for 6 years, and I have 5 left. That's 6 whole years. It's been fun, it's been educational, and I've learned quite a bit. And making the SlobStir channel, it was a success. Our couple of first races we did with Ultima Mantoid and Shigaroxen, it just happened. It just happened. There was no like script we had. There was no intentions. We just did a couple of races for fun. That's what we had back then. But more about that later on. What I want to concentrate on first is the future of my channel. The future of Case Mega Man, as the grid is almost empty now. And also talk a bit more about what I have learned during these 6 years. So first off, no, the challenge is not over. As some of you probably already know, after the grid is empty, I will be booting up another grid. And it's not a secret anymore, I will be doing the Wily stages. And basically try to complete every game in a sense. If that means that I have to use weapons other than the Mega Buster, then so be it. I'll try to only use the Mega Buster, of course. But for stuff like, let's go back to Flame Mass level with the Pookers. For stuff like that, I'd need to use some other methods then. But for the most part, like Mega Man 1 is pretty straightforward, Buster only. There's only a couple of spots where you need to blow the blocks away. So, we'll see. I'm kind of rushing my head up in my own ass to this challenge, but that's exactly what I did when I started Case Mega Man. The idea, of course, I got it from Rome Mithril, because I was watching his perfect runs and I was like, there's gotta be a way to do this harder. There has to be a harder way, like some way so I can prove myself. And prove myself more so to myself. The first intention was how far can I go as a Mega Man enthusiast? How difficult is it gonna be for me? And what a better way to like spread my knowledge of the games than to upload to YouTube for everyone to see. And that's kind of the idea. I remember I started off with Cutman, and I was kind of trying to do the same thing Rome did. But I found out that didn't really work out for me. I had a semi-script, and I would like say the same things on every attempt. Like say if I tried Cutman for like 100 times, I'd say the exact same things every time. But that got old so fast. I manifested my own way. I made up my own way how to do the challenge. And I guess that's what keeps people coming back. And I think most people are here for the outtakes, but also there's the other people who want to see the perfect run, you know, its glory. But I guess the perfect runs that's like the outtakes are like the icing on the cake. In that they're funny, and they really showcase the troubles that I have on each stage. And let me tell you, beating Shadow Man, it's incredible. I honestly never thought I could do that. Like Shadow Man, it seemed so far away in terms of completing it. Even even with Quickman, I knew at some point I had to like perfect it. There was no other way around it, because I could see the patterns. I could see, well, not Quickman's patterns, but you know, the patterns in like, at some point I have to beat the stage. But with Shadow Man, I never felt that. I always thought like, that is not humanly like possible. Like, there is no reaction time in the world that I could have to beat Shadow Man. But here I am 6 years later doing it. It does show that if you put your mind into something, you can make it happen. But of course, 6 years is a long time to do one boss. And I haven't done that like every day for 6 years, no. It was 8,000 tries. So if you spread 8,000 tries, let's say for the duration of like 5 years, it's not gonna be so much. But it's much more than anything else I've done. And when people tell me like, oh, this Robot Master is very difficult, this stage is very hard, that stage is easy, you shouldn't have any problems with that, and that boss is very difficult, and or that boss didn't give me any problems, and no, it doesn't work like that. Like, every person has their own skill set. You telling me that Gravity Man is easy is frankly bullshit, because I have my own skill set. I can tell you that, like, I think I told you the Solar Man is easier than you might think. It is, for me. Solar Man might be your worst nightmare. But what I'm saying is, I just recently got down Plugman. And people seem to think, like, that's one of the hardest bosses. And I'd have to agree. But I'm better at killing Plugman than I am killing Shadow Man. I'm better at killing Plugman than some of the easier ones that you people think are like easier than Plugman. Let's go back to Gravity Man. I had humongous problems with Gravity Man. And I don't know if it's the vertical thing it has, like he keeps going up and down. I don't know if that's it, but I kept missing the shots. Until eventually I made up my own way to deal with it. It's slow, yes, but it works. I kept counting his shots and jumps, and that way I could like take him down. It didn't matter to me in the end how I did it, how slow it was. It was winning at the game my own way. It was overcoming an obstacle and creating a strategy for it. What I'm saying is, you can't tell someone else how easy or how hard something is. And I think that's partly why setting like difficulty meters and difficulty values to stages and bosses is partly redundant. Why I do it is I do it because I want to tell people how hard something was for me at that moment. So let's say I have all of these bosses down, and they all have their own difficulty values. Let's say a Cutman is 1, and let's say Shadow Man is a 10. Now, I don't compare them. So, if I later realize, oh, Cutman was supposed to be 3 in difficulty values, or whatnot, no, that's not how it works. My difficulty rankings are based on how I felt at that exact moment. How I felt when I was doing the challenge on that level, on that stage. How difficult it was for me. I'm not comparing any of the bosses with each other. And I think that's why my system works. I'm not saying the other systems are bad. I'm just saying that I have my own logical way to deal with it. And if I try to compare how much more difficult another Robot Master is to another, that would make me constantly go back and forth and changing the values on the bosses. And no, that's not how I do it. And another thing I wanted to mention here was that, like, due to this YouTube channel, I've grown a lot. Like, when I first started, if you go back and watch my like Mega Man 1 runs, You'll notice that I'm quiet, I'm shy, and I'm not as confident as I am now. And I think partly creating the YouTube channel was a good thing to me. It allows me to vent outside of my real life. It allows me to have some like me time to do this challenge. And I am fortunate that me starting this challenge brought these other people like in my life. So I was talking with Jeremy from SnupSter, aka Candy Bars, a couple of days back, and he told me that I have changed a lot since I started doing the challenge. Yeah, I can tell you, when I started 6 years ago, I was a lot more shy. I was so shy, I was wondering if I can even record for any audience. If I only had like 5 views per video, I'd still be nervous because somebody's gonna hear me talk. And back then, it was even difficult for me to start phone calls. I don't know why that is, but I guess it boils down to anxiety or something. So, starting this challenge has helped me emotionally. Because when I started this, I realized that talking ain't that bad. And people actually liked me and my challenge. So furthermore, that gave me the boost on my self-confidence that I can do this. And over the years, I started gaining more and more experience. I started gaining more and more confidence what comes to the videos. And when I started SnupStir, it gave me a fuck of a boost in confidence, because I would talk to these guys every single day. And when you talk every single day in a language that's not yours, you learn a lot daily. Because you hear words that you didn't necessarily know or remember that existed. And when other people talk to you in English, you start to realize how much information you get from them. Because you learn new things to say and you learn new words. Even though my English is above average as a Finnish guy, I still learn a lot. Even now, I still learn new words and new expressions. It's a huge help for both of our channels, really. So even a simple thing, take Candy Bars for example. Say I talk to him just for 1 hour. I can learn 20 new expressions in that time. I can learn so much, and it's just gonna get better and better. I feel like I'm close to my peak where I can be English-wise. But I think I can always become better. So that's something I truly appreciate. I didn't know 70% of the words I know today when I started the challenge. My English was not that good back then. And I think the confidence brings a lot to the table as well. So that's something that has changed during these 6 years. And I feel like I'm a completely different person from what I was back then. And the funny thing, I always joke about my hair turning grey when I was doing the challenge. And that's not a joke. It actually happened. So 6 years ago, I had semi-blonde hair, just turning a little bit brown. And for the past 4 or so years, my hair is almost completely not grey and not black, but something from between. And the hair in my forehead is actually a greyish tint. So I don't know if that's because of the challenge or because of genes, but that is pretty hilarious. And if we talk about the videos I did in 2010, I can tell you that I am proud of them, but because I was so shy and so different, I always feel like I should go back and do them again. But that's not how it works, in my opinion. I'm gonna leave them how they are. Because the main reason for that is because if you watch the videos from the beginning till the last episode I did, you can see the change in me. You can see it in my speech, you can see it in the commentary, and you can see it in confidence. And I think that is valuable for me. You can see the steps I took over the challenge and how I changed. And I recently got a comment in my Shadowman video from Adolfo. He wanted to know quite a bit, so I'll just answer his questions, and I'll also talk about other things that I feel like are, well, important and semi-important. So let's get to it. So the first thing he wants to know is, how much has my life changed since I started the challenge? So it all dates back to 2010. I was still in school, I believe. I was studying computer science, and I was living alone in my 35 square feet apartment. And I was living alone, but I think me and my current fiancée were already sending messages to each other, so she moved in at some point soon. But I did start the challenge before we met, I believe. I did graduate, and we moved quite many times after that. We were still in the same city. And since then, we've had personal issues happen, we've had family things happen, I've had some health issues myself, and I went to a couple of surgeries, and we had another crisis, which I'm not gonna talk about in the internet, but it was very rough on us both. But we got through it, and that's in the past now. So I've gone through some trauma, which I will not disclose any further here. But that's life. Life gives you lemons sometimes, and other times it gives you shit. So I don't think that's a matter of... I don't think that's a matter to discuss over the internet. It's something personal. We all have some personal things we are just keeping to ourselves and our families. But all is well at this current point. Everything is fantastic. 2 years ago we moved to a new city completely. And this apartment still isn't that big, and that's partly the reason why I'm having difficulties recording, because this really is a 2-room apartment. So the other room holds just barely the bed. And then we have this other room which basically holds everything else. So me recording requires complete silence in here. And that's one reason why the videos are not consistent. And the other thing, I'm kind of jumping from topic to topic here, hopefully you understand, but the other thing that messes up with my recordings is that I need to be in the mood for it. I need to want to make videos. It requires a certain mindset to be able to, well, to be funny and to succeed in what you're trying to do. Because what I do is the challenge. And if I'm not in the mood, there's no way I can record. It's not like my videos are on a conveyor belt. Like, gotta get this out, gotta get this out, gotta get this out, one per week. It doesn't work like that. Because it's not a let's play. It's a challenge, and I need to be in the mood. If I'm not in the mood, and if I still record, let's say I made a like weekly or bi-weekly schedule, the content would suffer greatly. If I'm not in the mood and I record, I can spot it. I can sense that I'm not ready. Sometimes I start to record, and after only 2 to 10 minutes I realize that I'm not funny, and this is not working out, so I close the recording. And that's one big reason why the episodes take so long to come out. I just want the best for my channel. I want to give out the best me that I can be for you. So if I'm not funny, if I'm not succeeding in the stage, if I'm frustrated, it's not gonna work. And that brings us to the other topic regarding my channel. And this is a question for everyone who's watching. Would you think I would benefit? Do you think I would benefit for making my editing better? Would you think my channel would benefit for making fancier graphics, making fancier sound, making the episodes look better? Would you think that's something I should be doing? Because right now, my mindset, what comes to Case Mega Man, is that I put all of my energy and all of my skill and mindset and power on recording. I want the recording to be perfect. But when I get to the editing, I'm in a mindset that I want to get this out as soon as possible. One reason for that is SnupStir. If you don't know what SnupStir is yet, go to snupster.com. That's my other channel, and I'm completely almost running it alone. We have 7 people, but I edit the videos, and we do it every weekend. So that eats a lot of my time. And that time is also deduced from Case Mega Man. It's something that I've chosen to do. It's something that... The thing is that I want SnupStir to be graphically, audibly, and like otherwise something that Case Mega Man isn't. I want to show my skill sets, my talent. I want to show it in SnupStir. I don't necessarily want to show everything I've got on Case Mega Man, because it's still, at the end of the day, it is still a challenge. It's still something I personally like to do, but I'd rather not spend that much time on editing, because I think that is not the important part of the challenge, or the videos for that matter. I think the more important part is showcasing me, showcasing the stage and the perfect run and the outtakes. Everything else I shove aside. But what do you think? Do you think I would benefit from creating better graphics, better sound? And of course, that means the episodes are gonna take longer to edit. So it really is double-sided. But I'd just like to hear your opinion about it. And what comes to the things that I have changed during my 6-year YouTube career, so to speak. I did open my YouTube channel 10 years ago, but I only started doing the challenge 6 years ago. So what has changed? Well, equipment, of course. I've studied a lot about YouTube in general and what comes to recordings. And 3 years ago I started something called SnupStir. And that is one of the many things where I have personally tried to bring people together, to enjoy the same thing. I have tried this method for the last 10 to 15 years. I always wanted to bring people together to do the same thing over the internet and have fun. And I can say that this is the first time I have succeeded. This is the first time I feel like I've succeeded at something. Like I've made something happen. I've met great people. We've played some fun challenges. We've had fun races. And I've made many friends. I speak to these guys almost every day. And it's something I am proud of, personally. And it's something that I feel like I have accomplished. And that is all boiling down to starting my YouTube channel. That all boils down in the fact that I created the Case Mega Man series, because that's how people actually found me, and that's where I got the idea of, hey, let's make this family and let's play the games together, make a channel, and that is something I'm very fond of. That's happened in the past 6 years. I'll link the SnupStir channel in the description if you want to check it out. I highly suggest it. We are, well, if I can just advertise us, we are the most funniest people you'll meet in the retro video game genre who do these kind of videos. You totally have to check us out. And if you enjoy my videos, I can guarantee you'll enjoy us. So furthermore, to answer Adolfo's questions, how much has your life changed? your perspectives and your goals. What comes to my life, I think the biggest thing that has changed is that I am no longer in school and I have a job, and I've been working for about 4 years now. And of course I live together with my fiancée. That's one thing that has changed since 2010. And overall, I think if you're asking the perspectives what comes to the challenge, if you can hear that, that's the cat in the background eating. But my perspectives related to the challenge hasn't really changed. I have the same feeling when I started the challenge in 2010. I still feel the same about it. I want to keep going. I want to see how long I can do this. Because as you know, when the current grid becomes empty, there will be a new one. So I will keep going. I'm not sure how to answer the perspective thing right now, so that's pretty much all I can say about it. And what comes to my goals, if that is relating to life or Case Mega Man, you already pretty much know my goal what comes to Case Mega Man, but if you're asking my goals what comes to life, I can't answer that. I don't have a definite answer. I don't have a answer to that. I really don't. I have some goals, what I would like to do in life. Like for example, at some point, I'd really like to try track racing. Like, I'm talking about just normal track racing, because that's one of my dreams. I want to be able to do that at some point, because I love cars, I love driving them, and it's just something I've been thinking about. The other thing could be rally. Either one of those things, really, that's something I really, really want to do. And the other thing that sometimes makes me wonder is being a car mechanic. It's just, whenever I bring my car to the mechanics, the atmosphere is telling me, for some reason, that I should be there. I should be working on the cars. And it's something I always think about when I bring my car in. So that's another thing I probably sometime in the future at least try. But we'll see. That's something that's personal to me, and that's something I sometimes think about. One thing I have to thank my audience is for the comments I get, and that is what keeps me going. So every time I release a video, I pretty much go check the comments the next day. And I rarely get any negative comments, if ever. I mean, you guys are fucking amazing. And that's something that keeps me going. It gives me the power to start a new stage. It gives me the power to keep going on my personal channel as well as SlobStir. So thank you. Thank you everyone who's been leaving me comments. Even if you watch, even if you don't leave comments, I totally appreciate you watching me. If you leave a like, all the power to you. And if even leaving a like is something you would consider, I'd be totally grateful for that. You don't have to leave a comment. And I understand the Google Plus thing has screwed some people over, because they don't want to give their information to Google. So that's pretty much the things I wanted to talk about today. And have a good one. I'll see you on the next episode.